this is Scott of Photography Banzai. In this video, I'll be talking about the Canon 80D. Thanks to Cameracraft in Rockford, Illinois for letting me try this out at their shop. Keep in mind, I will be comparing this camera to Nikon cameras. It's what I'm most familiar with. It's just how it's going to work. So let's get started. General ergonomics wise, I think this is a pretty no-nonsense camera. It has a nice flat black exterior. The buttons really pop over that flat black. It does have a good deal of direct control. I always like tactile control, and this one has it. Very similar to Nikon's D7000 series of camera. Now the two big manufacturers do have a lot of similarities in the control layout. You have the mode dial C1 and C2, which is very similar to the D7000 series. They also have two custom modes on the dial. The difference being they have two dials instead of one with the Canon. AF on button, diopter, battery size, and placement is very similar to my D600. The info and Q button on the Canon is also very similar to the info and I button on the Nikon's. Live view switch and the AF lock switch and also the flash button. Outside of the similarities, Canon does a few unique things with their control layout. The back wheel, of course, being the largest one to get used to. It does work well, it feels pretty solid to use. Probably one of the biggest differences is the top cluster of buttons right by the shutter. You have a line of different buttons, the AF, drive, ISO, metering, and a focus mode, as well as the LCD lamp. On Canon, the on-off switch is actually on the left by the mode dial instead of right by the shutter button. I have to say the grip isn't my cup of tea. It is very similar to my Nikon D600 grip, which is one that I don't especially like. After using the D750, I see the difference of good and bad grips quite a bit more these days. So the issue is that it's not very deep, it's pretty thick, and it doesn't work too well with my hands personally. I mean, if it works for you, definitely that's great, but I don't especially like this grip. Other than that, button placement is good. You have a lot of direct control from your index finger by the shutter button with all of those buttons in that area. So you could probably do a lot of one-handed control with this camera. I do like that feature. Ports, memory card, and battery door. Let's talk a little bit about those. The ports on the 80D have simple rubber covers. The nice thing about them is that you can kind of pull them out a little bit and get them fully out of the way of whatever you're connecting. In this case, simplicity works well, and I think it is a good way to do things. Memory card door and access to the memory card is very easy. I like that. It works. Some memory cards I've used in other cameras are difficult to get out. This one works. I like it. The battery area is extremely similar to my D600. It's functional, has a little spring-loaded latch, works well. Of course, it is very far away from the tripod screw hole, which is good. That way you can change the battery when you're attached to a tripod in probably almost every situation. The main LCD screen has full articulation. It's a great feature. Also has a touch screen that is also a big plus. This camera is probably more targeted towards a mixture of photography and videography. Having that touch screen, having that screen that fully faces the user if they so choose, works really well. The touch capability itself is very exact. It works how you would expect. Works through the menus, it works with touch to focus. You can also touch and let the camera take a picture instantly if you so choose. That said, I really like the screen, I like how it works, and I do like the touch feature in this camera. It helps out a lot. I did take a few sample photos and I'll put them on my Flickr. Only a small handful, but if you want to check those out, they are available. I did take a few video clips. The main issue was I was using a 50mm lens on the camera, which makes the videos not especially useful, but I'll include a few samples here you can check out. Why wouldn't I want this camera? Wasn't a fan of the grip. Of course, ergonomics are pretty subjective. Depends on your hand, depends on how you like things to work. It doesn't have 4K video capability. That's something I've been wanting for a while. If or when I decide to buy another camera, I definitely would like to have 4K if possible. Also does not have in-body stabilizer. It's another thing, personal preference, if you want that feature or not. Let's get into why I would like this camera. Live view and video autofocus is great. They're dual pixel autofocus technology. So if you want really good high quality autofocus in live view situations, this is a good camera to pick out. The fully articulating screen with a quality touch experience is a reason I would want this camera. I'm really big on ergonomics and control. That screen helps out a lot in that situation. Canon has an expansive lens line. I really wish I had that 135mm f2 lens they sell. Looks like a great lens. That's just one specific lens. They have a ton of great optics. So if you are looking for lens support, Canon's of course a great option. Canon seems to get the most third-party support, and they also get it first before everyone else. So if you want third-party flash, you want a lot of extra add-ons and things that third parties usually manage, Canon would be the best option. Of course, more generally, DSLRs from the big two have been really well refined over a long time. You can expect consistency and dependability for the most part if you went with something like this camera. In conclusion, what type of person would this work well for? Well, someone that does a mixture of video and photos, probably the best person in that case. Of course, it doesn't have the 4K, but it is solid with video with that nice screen and all of the autofocus performance. For someone just doing photos, it would work well. Also, just keep in mind the sensor might not be the best of the best, but it works well enough. In my opinion, sensors are definitely good enough these days from pretty much every manufacturer. Of course, if you need some specific high dynamic range requirement or something, you might want to look elsewhere, but I think it's good enough. And then, of course, people who just want that highly refined DSLR experience, they'll know what they're getting in this case, and it will work well. So that was the Canon 80D. So I'm Scott from Banzai. Again, thanks to Cameracraft in Rockford, Illinois for letting me try this out with their shop. Thanks again.